this young man lost that was about 28 kilogram in 5 months. A McKinsey research paper that showed trends in health and fitness. And it's not only a trend, but as you said, they realize it gives me an edge. It gives me more energy, better focus, better sleep. And I want to show people that they are not dependent on their DNA. They hold it in their own hands. It's within their power and their day-to-day decisions that make a huge difference. I want people to really understand that health is not to be taken for granted.
How we can lead through health. Where do you see the health and wellness industry going in the next 5 to 10 years? Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Conscious Leader Podcast, where I interview guests who are consciously leading and changing their industry for the better. Why? Because they want to provide value to you. They want your life to improve that 1% daily so you feel empowered, you feel inspired, and you can also lead your home, your life, your business consciously. Today, I have an exceptional guest. His name is Philipp, and he's going to share more about himself. But stay tuned because he's going to teach us how we can lead through health. Hi, Philipp. Welcome. How are you today?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me, Delisa. I'm looking forward to the next 30 minutes and sharing my journey and what I can offer of value to you. I hope.
Yes, not you hope. I know for a
You
fact.
know,
Please share with the audience who you are, who you serve, and how you are positively influencing lives.
yeah, I'm happy to do that. So, some background information. I'm a German based both online personal trainer, and in my 9 to 5, I have the role of a so called health promotion business partner in a Fortune 500 company. So, speaking about my regular job, I work together with company doctors and colleagues from employee assistance programs, from social counseling, and we are part of the so called health management. It's quite unique. At least the standards in Germany cannot be found in other countries. As in terms of this company, we are there to really offer measures of health promotion. So the topics usually revolve around health promotion being the overall topic. It's exercise, it's nutrition. There's an overlap with the people from social counseling where we focus upon stress management. Ergonomics is something, and also very closely related with work, with working conditions. So our goal is always to make sure that employers are motivated, their well-being is kept high, they are identifying with the company. So that's one part, and the other part is I started working as a personal trainer in 2009. Back then, I was studying sports, and I did my got my trainer's license. That's when I started working with different people. There were a doctor's professor from university, and later on also people, entrepreneurs. There were executives. That's one of the main groups, obviously. I've been doing that for 3 to 4 years. Then I paused for a moment to really focus upon my 9 to 5. And then I rediscovered the whole thing because I love the whole setup of online personal training. I can meet people and target them all over the world and, help them
Yeah.
transform not only their bodies, but their minds in many cases too.
Well, that's wonderful, and I am happy that we have connected on X,
Me too.
because you provide a lot of value. Even before we had our first conversation, just interacting with your content, and of course, then getting to know you has been most valuable. Before I get into your business as an entrepreneur, I want to highlight what you're doing in your 9 to 5. And as you mentioned, in Germany, the standards for health is exceptionally high. A lot of, um, you know, big businesses definitely know if they can breach into the German health market, they can go all over Europe and beyond, which is great. But the standards are exceptionally high. Um, which is a good thing for the health.
Yeah.
Why do you, in your role in what you do, you're looking at the well-being in a holistic view, not only the physical, you're also looking at the mental, you're looking at the employee satisfaction and all of these factors. What type of training do you need to show up with um, in your position? Like it's because it just seems you need all the PhD, different PhDs at the end of your name, but I know for a fact that you are qualified and you're skilled and you have all of it because in Germany you always have to have your CV. It doesn't like you always have to bring your CV with
Yeah.
your qualifications. Yes, so please share. Like, how do you like? What does this look like for us? That you're raising the bar, you're raising the standard in workplace health and wellness. What does that look like?
The colleagues and me, we usually have a background in sports sciences. So that's how I started. Back then, I studied sports sciences and English actually to become a teacher, but I found out that's not the direction I want to take. My general interest in fitness, it just became bigger and bigger, and I went beyond the boundaries of fitness, getting excited and interested in health, as you mentioned, in holistic health. So, yeah, I know degrees are one thing. Just let me finish that up. I added a master's in public health, which was also about how to conceptualize campaigns for the general population in terms of public health. Um, I found that within the context of companies, that is where my interest goes, and it's something that can be combined in a great way because the topics they do overlap. What the biggest difference is in the context of my role in the global company, we are targeting many people with lots of presentations. There are workshops, there are projects here and there. Um, but usually, the main difference is in my online personal training, I'm really focused upon one person, sometimes maybe a smaller group, and I help them really to go from A to B. So neither of both are less impactful. It's just that they are really different in the way we are approaching people. Um, yeah, what else can I say? You talked about standards. It's true. The standards trace back to about 70 years ago in the company I work for at Siemens. It's a global company. That's when they started to offer employers to go on a retreat. Um, it's something that even other Germanies look at Siemens and they feel like this is special. And the CEOs, they really hold a lot of value in that. It comes with a form of pride that this company is still able to um, suffice letting employees go, being absent from their work for 2 to 3 weeks, and then they are served with focus upon nutrition, exercise, and also really learning relaxation techniques. And the result is when they return, not all of them, but some really turn their life around entirely. Quite often, they get to visit the company doctor, and the company doctor thinks it would be a good idea for this person. Maybe they show signs of uh, early stressed out, or they're already running into burnout,
Mhm.
and that's how the whole thing started. And then they built upon that. They added employees, and now there's about 200 people in health management, and there are 7 other people like me. So I'm responsible for the western part of Germany, where I really yeah help the different locations, the cement sites, and I'm counseling. So yeah, giving
Yeah,
advice.
that's I like this. I like how this conversation is going because when it comes to employee health or staff health and wellness, um, sometimes, yes, there are resources available, but the level of support and resource that is strategically implemented in the business now
Yeah.
it is on a whole other level. And that's very commendable. And the
Mhm.
fact that, there's not only doctors on the team, but there are, fitness coach, people
Yeah.
who are at the top of their game, making sure how can we best support this man, this woman, right? Their families, because ultimately they're supporting a family and they know, right? For employee retention, they're doing this for peak performance in the business as well. We're doing this. This builds the economy because when people are employed, when people are working, when people are healthy and happy, the economy also grows. Like this actually expands out on a bigger level just beyond the company itself. It really is having an impact, an influence on the country as a nation as a whole. So I'm already like, well, this is great. Moving into now, you started off, you said, okay, I'm going to try being an entrepreneur. And you
Yeah.
did, 3, 4 years, and then you took a break, which is really great because you recognize, okay, let me take a break, let me refocus in, dial in. And you went to get, in my opinion, I see it as it's preparation, and you were laying the preparation, even though you took
Yeah.
a moment aside, and you really harnessed your skills. You cultivated it so you could come back to provide exceptional value to people. Now, upon your return, why did you decide virtual? Why didn't you think to yourself, okay, let me just work with the people in my nation, the ones in Germany? Why did you decide virtual?
Um, the idea of doing something online, I know it sounds really blunt, but that has been sitting with me for, I would say, 7 or 8 years. I would read one book after another on how to run an online business in general. It always had this intriguing kind of thing. This is something um, that sparked something in me, but I wasn't really sure in which direction I could take it. I was thinking about doing a YouTube channel, starting a podcast, but I ended up with the writing kind of thing. So X, or formerly Twitter, was I wasn't really familiar with it. I was not part of it. I thought about people there that write about politics, economy, but I wasn't really aware of this whole creator economy. And so I was procrastinating on doing that. But what I was clear on, no matter what the platform would be or the format, it had to be health related because that's where my roots are. That's where the deep experience I hold. And I know it sounds cliche, and you're probably familiar with the guy, Dan Coe. He triggered many people to really take the initial step. And I trace back the fact that I started like last year in July, I started writing my weekly newsletter, which is on Substack. And a month later, I started writing on X. And coming back to your question, um, yes, I find online personal training, it both allows the client and me as a coach a freedom I couldn't find anywhere else. So definitely, what I had to wrap my mind around is that on-site personal training is not more valuable than online personal training. Because think about it, if we were to come together in your local gym, let's say twice a week, I would be focused upon you and your progress for maybe 2 hours per week. But if you were to sign in on a program that I have, we would be in contact every day, sometimes multiple uh, times a day, because I get to oversee um, your level of motivation. I can see concerning your workout, how many sets do you do? Which exercises do you struggle with? What do you prefer in terms of training style? Talking about nutrition, do you have any preferences that I should really bear in mind? So I would say it's highly adaptable and it offers you much more on a service level than on-site personal training can do. That is more limited. But my thinking in the beginning was quite the opposite. But as I kept reading on it and I found out all the functionalities and how easy it is to hold people accountable, even if they are thousands of kilometers or miles away. Um, I knew this is what I wanted to do, and so far, I've been enjoying it, and the clients do so as well.
Yes. You have a lot of healthy clients, not healthy and happy, right? Because when you're healthy, then you become happy, and you highlight that, not just show it, like you highlight it. You highlight the happiness value as well, and the healthy value, not in an egotistical way, like, oh, I could get you this result. You do it in a way where people are recognizing when we're working together, you will get and see individual results that's going
Yeah,
to work for
exactly.
you. So definitely that's how you do it. Now, what for those of you who are probably brand new to seeing who you are, they're thinking, well, what makes you different from another virtual uh, health and fitness consultant or coach that's on the internet?
Yeah, that's a good one. And to confess, it's challenging to really put yourself out there and what makes you different. I've been thinking about that, and I had one testimonial of a guy we met by chance on X. He's also from Germany. He said what he liked about my approach is that it's a more science-based approach, but it doesn't lack the emotional component. So that means if I were to differentiate myself, why wouldn't you just follow a fitness influencer? That's, by the way, a topic that I will write in my newsletter. It's because these people, they really show you what an ideal physique looks like, but you cannot interact with these people. That means they are just painting the canvas of what is possible, but they usually are genetically gifted and also physically enhanced, if I can say that.
Mhm,
So I remember former clients told me, apart from the advice and the knowledge that I have, what they enjoyed is that I know it sounds maybe dull, but it is not. They said they can really hold a conversation with me apart from the whole exercise, nutrition kind of thing, because they say, okay, you have a wealth of knowledge, yes, but you also know about life, about whatever, economy, politics. It's not something that is valid or has value for every client, but it's something that some people like to tap into. And they also said, I have a great sense of humor. So when we write back and forth, yes, results are number one. So people have to trust me, my knowledge, all of that. But in the end of the day, they do have to want to engage with me, because it's not like, here's your exercise plan, have fun.
mhm,
It's a relationship that you start building upon. And yes, also this background from working in a global company as a health promotion business partner, that is something that sets me apart, because quite honestly, I haven't found anybody else having that on X, but that does not mean that makes me any better. It's just that makes me different from the other uh, majority of trainers out there
yes,
and health coaches.
yes. You touched on relationship,
Yeah,
having a relationship with your client, and I want to stay there for a moment. And with what I do, I'm always sharing about communication and effective communications. But you're going even deeper. Yes, there's the relationship, but now you're building a connection. And the
yeah,
connection goes beyond um, what people are wanting. And I mean, you've been around, Philip, for a while, more than a minute. You weren't born yesterday, right?
yeah.
So so connection is key. And the industry, where consumers are going, where industry is going right now, people are coming back to connection. They want to feel and be connected genuinely, outside of saying, this is how I can help you. Um, and so this is my service. There you go. Join my free class.
Yeah,
Register for my free this. And then they're trying to bombard you with sales, 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 sales. Because they're trying to put you through a pipeline. You're saying, you know what? I'm going to give you value. And on top of that, I'm going to build a relationship. I'm going to build a connection with you because I
Yeah.
genuinely want to know you. And as an entrepreneur, as well as you have your regular business. So of course,
Mhm.
your clients that you take on the side, it's they're not huge amount. They're enough uh, for that you're not overburdening and overworking yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you place such an emphasis on the connection piece with your clients and your personal business and the team that you are helping to cultivate and structure from the janitor all the way up to the CEO of the business, right? Because you're part of this
Yeah.
whole team that's doing that. Why is connection for you key?
I can give you two examples. One is that was during the initial phase of my on-site personal training. That was before online personal training. Um, it's one of the most outstanding testimonials in my history. Um, Not only based on the number of kilogram this young man lost, that was about 28 kilogram in 5 months. Yes, that's great. But what stood out to me is it really wasn't until years later when I received a WhatsApp from this person. His name was Aaron, and I didn't recognize the second he sent the message who it was. But then, of course, I connected the dots. And what he told me is, "You remember me, Philip?" And it was, I don't know, it was 2 years or 3 years ago. And he said, "I want to thank you personally because you set something in motion, which ended up him becoming a gym rat." I know it doesn't have just a positive connotation. He's not living in the gym, but he just enjoys going there, I don't know, 5 to 6 days a week. And he said he ended up studying nutrition. So he now works in a nutrition company. And that, apart from the result he got, that just made me proud. That he said, I can trace that back to you. And I remember the first contact we had, he came with his mother because he was just 15 years back then, and he was heavily obese, to be honest. And so we sat there, the three of us, and I was listening, listening. I don't know. I was asking the first question after 10 or 15 minutes. And later on, during one of our sessions, he said, um, the difference between our first conversation and the trainer he worked with before was I was not jumping to conclusions too fast. I was just listening first and then acting on what he told me, really asking further questions to understand what caused him maybe to be obese, or what his frustrations, what he was concerned with, how did it happen. And of course, one by one, peeling away the layers, I understood, okay, this is what we can work on. And we took it one step at a time. So, this is what I mean. You can screw it from the very beginning, or you can lay a strong foundation by making the client feel understood and building that trust. So, the more the client, the person, opens up with me, the better I can help, the better advice I can give. And right now, I have one client from South Africa. He's helping me with writing, the writing aspect. He's a former marketing agency writer, and I do help him. And yeah, we get along almost on a level that we are friends. I'm not saying that's necessary. It's not necessary as a coach client, but it doesn't hurt either. It's really something you are, the person shares some personal things with you that makes you better understand how this person ticks. And so in turn, it makes it easier for me to really build an experience for him, not just the pure training, nutrition, habit kind of thing.
Hmm. No, and that's where, and the one, this is what people need right now. And the other aspect of this is this is where we're leading. This is what people want. They want to have that relationship. They want to have that communication, regardless of the distance, right? We're coming together virtually. And so having that interaction and um, having that bond, you don't need to be, as you mentioned, best friends, or I mean, because there are different levels of friendship. There's different levels of
Yeah.
of bonding. There are different levels of that. And so of course with each one it will be different, and it will be held in respect for each other, and the type of relationship that it is, because of course this is a client, that you're working with. But I understand, it seems to me that you're approaching it very similarly to how you approach the team, at the company that you're working with. Let's say you're working with an executive and his team in a specific department, right? You need to build that relationship. You need to understand, what is this executive going through right now in his life or her life, before you could even go on the floor and walk around. You have to spend time with this
Yeah.
person, even if you've seen them around and you said hi, you got to know them a few years ago, because then you could understand what mindset they are in. You could understand what their thought process is right now, and what work needs to get done before you could even uh, walk in on the team and then start building. And I agree with you. The foundational piece is essential, and then the listening piece lays the foundation for the relationship to build. So I thank you and I commend you for that wholeheartedly.
Thank you.
Yeah. I know we're wrapping up a bit more,
Yeah, sure.
but I have a few more questions for you. Where do you see the health and wellness industry going in the next 5 to 10 years? And the reason why I'm asking this, so that's a question. Where is the health and wellness industry going in the next 5 to 10 years? But I am asking this because there are so many um, things out there. It's so much noise. I'll just call it the noise when
Yeah.
it comes to health and wellness. And people are getting confused and lost. Should I be vegan? Should I be vegetarian? Can I eat meat? Should it be grass fed? Oh, I have to take this medication. I have to take this particular supplement. And sometimes there isn't much nutrition in the supplements, depending on where it's made, how it's made, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So, where is the health and wellness industry going in the next 5 to 10 years? And I want to know how you're, after you answer that, how you personally, as an entrepreneur, as a person in this industry, how are you leading change?
Yeah, good question. A few weeks ago, I came across a McKinsey research paper that showed trends in health and fitness. And I mean, the good news is it's the good news for coaches like me that more and more people are willing to spend money on their health and wellness. So that's the good thing. The negative predictions are that more and more people on this planet are getting obese, and that's in contrast to many of the developed countries having better healthcare systems. Let me give you an example. Germany, among the Western countries in Europe, has the lowest life expectancy. That was kind of shocking to me when I read that. And it's related to heart diseases, which is connected also to alcohol consumption. It's quite really liberal alcohol politics, if I can say so. Um, there are trends definitely like augmented reality, fitness. It will become much more niche. I think um, the general qualification of any coach will always hold the pillars of health and sorry of exercise and nutrition. But I think around that there are so many directions you can go. I talked about the relaxation techniques. Some focus on meditation, on breathing exercises. Some really have become experts in the gut microbiome, for instance, because science realizes how strong the connection is there. I might go in the direction of really setting myself apart by doing what I do in my 9 to 5, which is giving a lot of workshops and presentations and move it to my online business kind of thing. So really tap into the teaching kind of thing. Like, of
Yeah.
course, we are all time pressed and we want to have the information as condensed as possible. But then there are people who really have a strong interest in building a health competency. And what is required for that is really just looking behind the curtain. You need to understand what makes the health components, how to really build a system of being healthy. Um, you see, there are two sides to that. I wish more people got into living a healthy life. We won't get unemployed in the foreseeable future. But I think as a coach, it becomes more and more important to set yourself apart. It is already important. You have to get more niche unless you arrive at stages of whatever Dan Go, who has more than 1 million followers. That's something different. But as an up and coming coach, yeah, you got to find your unique value proposition.
Yeah. Well, 100%. And I like, you broke down so many facts because there are many countries who people will be surprised that heart disease, for example, or high cholesterol is the leading cause or the leading factor. But then they're outside and they're moving their body and they're exercising and they're doing all of these different things. But then this is the number one part, or it could be that mind piece, the mental aspect of it,
Yes.
that with their negative thinking and such. So I agree with you. Yes, in the next 5 to 10 years and beyond, health and wellness definitely is lucrative, and it's the business because people are taking seriously. They're starting to take ownership of their own health.
Exactly.
They're no longer just putting it in the hands of a doctor. Not saying that they don't trust doctors, but they want to understand, what am I putting in my body? If I,
Yeah.
yeah, like what am I ingesting on all different levels? So I agree with you
Maybe
on it.
just sorry for the interruption, and just maybe one addition to that. It's someone what a fellow trainer who I don't know personally wrote on LinkedIn, and I think it makes perfect sense for all the executives, the managers out there. They become more and more aware that taking care of the health is not only a necessity, but it's also something that they can prove their power and their competence. So it's not just about knowing about their subject, but really being the an idol, somebody to look out for, because they are aware that absenteeism rates are really dependent on their leadership style. So
Mhm.
um, I think among executives and other entrepreneurs, it's also something that becomes more and more relevant. It's not only a trend, but as you said, they realize it gives me an edge. It gives me more energy, better focus, better sleep, all of that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I enjoyed our conversation. Please share with
You.
the audience your thoughts on how you're consciously leading the health and wellness industry. What does that mean to you?
Oh, um, yeah, that's a big one. Of course, it starts with social media, the posting every day, the engaging makes people take notice of me, and I've had comments here and there that they like my holistic approach, that it's not just focused upon fitness. So what I want is to, as they say, health is wealth. So there's a reason to say that. I want people to really understand that health is not to be taken for granted. Yes, it's something that we can work upon, and I want to show people that I don't know, they are not dependent on their DNA. They hold it in their own hands. It's within their power and their day-to-day decisions that make a huge difference. So another statistic I read, the people who are 50 years or older today, depending on where you live, but they have good chances to live to 100 years. But the quality of life depends on how you lead your life, and this is closely related to your health. So I'm not saying every decision you make day to day should be with regard to health, but the big decisions like people sitting for prolonged hours, which is not good, lack of exercise, all of that. And in the end of the day, I want to make people become aware that taking care of your health is more than a necessity. It's the kind of life that is the most fun, and it has the greatest value because it translates into all aspects of your life. So I would say health is necessary, health is cool. It gives you freedom to do whatever you want in your life for as long as you possibly can.
Yeah, wow. I actually really enjoyed that answer. And you said health is not just necessary, it's health is your life. Health is
Yeah.
your life. There's that old saying of health is wealth, but really, health is your life. And when you have life, everything else can fall into place. Philip, I want to thank you so very much for joining us today. You shared a lot of insights, a lot of value um, in health and in fitness. And if you guys want to connect with Philip, you can connect with him on LinkedIn. You could connect with him on X. Don't worry, his stuff will be posted
Yeah.
in the captions, so you can reach out to him. And don't worry, he will be on again on a different show where he's going to be really sharing all the insights, all the value that you're going to need. So, Philip, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was my pleasure.
Yes, yes. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And join me next week for another episode where we can learn how to consciously lead. Bye, everyone.